thunder of jets in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful...
A loop, a whirl, and a vertical climb, and once again you'll know it's time for the adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and friends.
Starring that supersonic speedster, Rocket J. Squirrel, with his pal Bullwinkle the Moose, and a host of others.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
Wave to the people!
Yay!
Now what are you doing?
Signing autographs. Let's see. John Smith.
But your name is Bullwinkle!
I know, but that's hard to spell.
We're gonna have a lot of fun! Come on and join us!
Sure, there's always room for one more.
Well, the Wossamotta U football team continues to roll like a juggernaut over its opponents, sparked by the flashy passing combination of Rocky Squirrel and Bullwinkle Moose.
Ellie!
Oop! But Boris Badenov, against all common sense, is betting heavily against Wossamotta.
Put all this on Hard Knocks College next Saturday.
On Hard Knocks? Fellas, take off your hats. It ain't often we see such touching childlike faith. Mister, you got our sympathy.
Put your hats back on. I also got a fiendish plan.
And what a plan it was. Natasha, disguised as a forlorn co-ed named Miriam Calvus, convinced Bullwinkle that her brother was on the Hard Knocks football 11.
And if they don't win, he'll be thrown off the team.
Never fear, Miriam dear.
Oh, poetry.
Isn't it though? And what's more, curfew shall not ring tonight.
What's that mean?
I don't know, but it sure sounds impressive.
Bullwinkle, I don't think she even has a brother.
Yeah, but she sure has long eyelashes.
I think she's trying to trick you.
Rock, I'm surprised.
If she does have a football player for a brother, where is he? Where is this Crazy Legs Calvus?
You called?
You Crazy Legs Calvus.
Just look.
Crazy legs, all right.
Well, that did it. The following Saturday, Bullwinkle just wasn't playing his usual game. At the end of 3 quarters, the score was still 0-0.
Boo!
Bullwinkle, you fumbled!
I bet those eyelashes are 2 inches long.
As a matter of fact, the only reason Hard Knocks hadn't scored was that they were almost as bad a team as Wossamotta U.
2-7 hike.
Bullwinkle, you missed him!
Go on, Whizzer. You're in the clear.
And he was too, but unfortunately, in donning his uniform, Whizzer Black had inadvertently tied together the laces of his right and left shoes. As a result...
Boy, that's a lucky break.
Eyelashes must be 3 inches long.
Hey, you know who we haven't seen on the field yet?
Among others, Prince Suvarnafuma.
No, Crazy Legs Calvus.
Probably saving him for the last quarter.
This is the last quarter.
Maybe they're 4 inches long.
What are?
Miriam's eyelashes. See?
Where?
There in the end zone behind us.
Sure enough, Miriam Calvus
Or as we know her, Natasha Fatah.
was in the stands cheering for Hard Knocks.
Kill the moose. And look who's beside her.
Crazy legs. It was a trick.
Signals. 1, 2, 3, help!
Oh, what a dirty guy. I'll get you, crazy legs.
Bullwinkle, no! You're running the wrong way!
Nobody can make a monkey's uncle out of Bullwinkle J.
Oh, boy.
You know, Booby, I don't like the look in his eye.
I told you Moose had no sense of humor.
Quick as a flash, Burris slipped out of his seat and disappeared into the crowd.
Where'd he go?
Bullwinkle, look out!
Yes, by now, the mighty Moose stood at the 1-foot line, just 12 inches away from scoring the winning goal for his opponents. The Hard Knocks players struggled closer.
Gee, these football fields are long.
Boris was still ducking through the crowd, and where? Clear at the other end of the field, the Hard Knocks players leaped on Bullwinkle to drive him over the goal line, and at that moment, the referee raised his gun to signal the end of the game. Boy, we've had everything in this episode but the kitchen sink.
What do you think this is?
Well, is Wossamotta U doomed to its first defeat? We'll find out in our next excitement-riddled episode. Bullwinkle scores again, or Fool's Goal.
Once upon a time, there was a young prince who ventured into the woods in search of game. Somehow, during the course of the day, he became lost, for he found himself in a part of the forest where he had never been before. He was tired and hungry, and it was growing very late. Just then, he saw a light, and there, a short distance away, stood a great castle. Rushing up the path, he knocked on the huge door.
If you're selling weird story magazines, we don't want any. Go away.
Wait. I am a handsome prince who has lost his way. Could you spare a 32-course feast in a master bedroom for the night?
A prince? Well, in that case, come in. You're just in time for dinner.
Taking the lad by the hand, the king led him inside. When they entered the main dining room, the prince was shocked at what he saw. There were 7 chickens sitting around the table. And they, along with the king, proceeded to peck away at the dishes of corn that sat before them.
Eat, boy, eat. What's the matter? You haven't pecked a thing on your plate.
I'm suddenly not hungry.
Oh, that's too bad. What's that, Florence? Oh, this is very funny.
What happened?
Florence just told a joke.
That's all.
Son, I'm glad you came along. I've got a problem.
Yes, I noticed that.
The king went on to tell the prince an incredible tale of how a witch had come to his castle one dark day and cast an evil spell that had turned all his loving daughters into chickens.
Oh, so that's it. Those chickens 7 are your daughters.
No, 6 of the chickens are my daughters. The 7th one is the witch herself.
And here comes the plot.
Right you are. The spell on my daughters cannot be broken until I can discover which of the 7 chickens is the witch.
Well, now, this is the sort of thing that all handsome princes wait for. The next morning, he got up with the chickens and set about his task.
It's no use, my boy. Chickens have a nasty habit of looking just alike.
Well, that's true, but they don't think alike. The one that's the witch thinks like a witch.
With a plan in mind, the prince soon had disguised himself as a beautiful maiden.
Your mascara is running, and what's the plan?
Simple. I pretend like I'm Snow White. There isn't a witch in the world that can resist a setup like that. Watch this.
Lining up the 7 chickens, the prince, in his Snow White suit, ran through the courtyard proclaiming to the top of his voice,
I am Snow White. I do so hope that any witch around here that is disguised as a chicken won't give me a poison apple.
None of the 7 chickens paid the slightest bit of attention, but an ogre that happened to be casing the castle did. He saw that this was a chance to cop what he thought was a fair maiden, which he wasted no time in doing. But just then, a handsome knight chanced to arrive on the scene and rushed to the rescue.
Never fear, fair beauty. I shall save you.
With that, the knight flew at the ogre. The prince was saved and his troubles were over. Almost.
Ah, fair maiden, you are truly lovely.
I know, but knock it off, knight. I'm not a maiden.
Your eyes, your lips, your...
Okay, you asked for it.
Aha, the lady has fire. Wait, dear one, wait, come back.
The prince was not used to running with the dress on, but he did manage to make it back to the castle well ahead of the pursuing knight.
What happened?
Never mind. Help me out of this fair maiden disguise before anything else happens.
But before they could do this, the 7 chickens came clucking into the courtyard and gathered round the prince to see what the commotion was.
Girls, not now. Go away.
The prince grabbed a broom and started swinging to shoo them away. All chickens being afraid of brooms, they scattered like, chickens. That is all but one. That chicken snatched the broom from the prince, hopped on, and flew it around and around.
Your Highness, look at that.
Must say I never saw a chicken do that before.
Of course not. Only witches fly brooms, so that's the chicken that is a witch.
The prince had guessed the secret, and the spell was broken. Not only did the witch turn back into a witch, but the 6 chickens were turned back into the king's beautiful daughters.
Party pooper!
My boy, you did it. As a reward, I'm going to give you a chest of gold and any daughter you wish to be your bride.
Heavens, it's going to be hard to choose. They're all so beautiful.
Unfortunately, however, before he could make up his mind, the knight, who still thought the prince was a fair maiden, galloped in and swept him off his feet.
Now, lovely one, you and I, we fly away together, up, up and away!
No.
Well, now, needless to say, the poor prince did not get the chest of gold, and he was never to get one of the beautiful daughters to be his bride. Of course, his mother had told him that there would be days like that, but she had forgotten to warn him about the nights.
A message in a bottle.
Fan mail from some flounder?
No, this is what I really call a message. And now, here's that man who can save you money in 1,000 ways, Mr. Know-It-All.
Thank you, and hello, cheapskates everywhere. Today we take up the problem of buying a used car. The important thing is to buy only the used car you know is right for you. So naturally, the salesman must be honest.
Hey, sport, got a little sweetheart here for you.
Like him, for instance. You know an honest face like that couldn't steer you wrong. So, the first thing you do is kick the tire. That shows him you know what you're doing.
You pay for all damages. Just sign contract.
Well, I suppose it's the right thing to do.
Hey, sport, that car you just bought is a dog. How about taking this little beauty out for a spin?
Fine, but I'd like to take it to a mechanic for a complete checkup.
Mechanic is next door.
Oh, good. This way you can never get stuck. Say, mechanic, will you check this car over to see if it's a sound buy?
Car is in perfect order. You'll sign online here.
Here?
Look, sport, no motor. You need this little baby here. Hop in and take for spin.
Well, only for a...
Yes, officer, car is stolen. But we will not prosecute if Moose pays only $4,300 for little gem.
Do I sign here?
Yes, but better first practice on these.
I thought you said buy only the car you want. Now you own 31 cars.
I do?
What'll you do now?
What else? Look like a little old lady from Pasadena.
Hello again, Peabody here. Although Christopher Columbus discovered many things, the one thing he didn't discover was Columbus, Ohio.
What did he discover, Mr. Peabody?
Just the North American continent, Sherman, and today you and I will help him do it. Set the Wayback Machine for $14.92.
Yes, sir, Mr. Peabody.
And our target, Spain. The Wayback wasted little time transporting us to the court of Ferdinand and Isabella, and there before the throne stood Columbus pleading his case.
The world, she's no flat, she's around.
Ridiculous.
That's what you say. I say she's around.
He's crazy.
Oh, I don't know, Fred. Maybe he's right. Sure, I'm right, lady. The world, she's around like an orange.
Like this orange?
Look at that, Mr. Peabody. A square orange.
And a square king, Sherman. I beg your pardon, your majesties, but Columbus is correct, you know. The world is round, and if you'll give us just 3 ships, we'll prove it. Thanks to Isabella, the king agreed, and the next morning we found 3 ships waiting for us in the harbor.
It's a 3 nice-looking boats you got there. And at this time, I'd like to say bon voyage.
You sound as though you weren't coming along, Mr. Columbus.
That's right, I'm not.
You're joking.
No. You see, I'm not really gonna think the world she's around. I think she's oblong. Have a nice trip.
One moment, please.
It's no use trying to stop me. Ain't nothing gonna get me on those boats.
And nothing would have, except that suddenly a gangplank from one of the vessels was lowered and...
What do we do Mr. Peabody.
We'll carry him aboard the flagship.
But...
No buts, my boy. Columbus must make this voyage. Someone else also made the voyage, a certain Gaspar Vallejo, who was Spain's most prosperous globe maker.
Of all the dirty tricks, here I got it 2 million square globes and that guy Columbus, he's trying to prove that the world is around.
You got no worries, Senor Vallejo. We all know there is nothing on the other side of the ocean.
Oh, you ever hear of El Nevada? I spent a week there once. I guess the only thing to do is go with the Columbus and see that he never gets it back.
And you say you're a navigator, Senor Vallejo?
Oh, si, senor.
Very well. You're hired. With Vallejo charting our course, the three ships left the harbor and sailed out to sea. It wasn't long before Columbus came to and joined us on deck.
Well, I think I run down to the delicatessen and pick up some cheese.
You better not, Mr. Columbus.
What's the matter? Delicatessen is closed?
No, it's just that we're out at sea.
I don't believe you.
And so you see, sir, we had no alternative. Unless you discover the North American continent, it may not be discovered at all.
You sure the world she's around?
Positive.
And that the ocean she just don't fall off?
Take my word for it.
Then how do you explain it that?
It was hard to believe, but just ahead the ocean did appear to drop off into nothing.
I told you the world she's flat.
Wasting no time in explanations, I ran to the wheel and spun it wildly, causing the ship to do a complete turnabout. Fortunately, the wind was with us, and we were able to sail back in the direction from which we came.
We're going back to Spain, yes?
We're going back to Spain, no.
But, Mr. Peabody, how do you explain the ocean dropping off like that?
Because we weren't on the ocean, Sherman. That navigator of ours steered us straight into Africa, right down the Zambezi River. Those were the Victoria Falls we almost went over.
I'm gonna punch that navigator right in the nose.
Unfortunately, Senor Vallejo had another trick up his sleeve.
Stay in the back. If anyone makes him move, I'm gonna crash the ship on the shore.
He's got us, Mr. Peabody.
Oh, no, he hasn't. I dare you to run us onto the shore.
Oh, you do you?
Yes, I do.
But, Mr. Peabody...
I took one step forward, and Vallejo promptly spun the wheel, certain the boat would ram itself on the rocks. However, in so doing, one of the sails came about and... With Vallejo out of the way, the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Fe set a westerly course and, many months later, sighted the North American continent. Columbus had discovered America.
What do you know about that? The world is around.
He sure looks happy.
So happy that upon dropping anchor, the first thing he did was to dive over the side and go pearl diving.
Pearl diving, Mr. Peabody?
Why, yes, Sherman, that's how that famous phrase was born.
Which phrase is that?
Columbus, the gem of the ocean.
Well, in our last episode, Bullwinkle was just about to make football history at Wossamotta U.
He's heading for the wrong goal.
Right. For in the stands, Bullwinkle had spotted Crazy Legs Calbfuss.
Doggone Crazy Legs. Here I've been taking it easy so he wouldn't get thrown off the team. Now I find out he's not even on it. Where'd he go?
And Bullwinkle stopped just 1 foot short of the wrong goal line with a horde of tacklers coming after him. But just then...
Bye-bye, bird brain.
Yes, Boris popped into sight clear at the other end of the stadium.
Oh, Baz Fez.
Things had happened fast and furious.
I'm fast and he's furious.
So angry was Bullwinkle that he looked around for something to throw at the fleeting Boris. There was only one thing handy, the football. He hurled it just as he was hit by a cloud of tacklers. The ball zoomed over the heads of the astonished players. It was clearly headed right out of the stadium. But just as it reached the end zone, a furry streak intercepted it.
It's a touchdown! We win! Yay!
Ow!
Is that the end, Boris?
It's not my elbow, honey bun.
Let that be a lesson to you, Bullwinkle. Always play your best game no matter what the provocation.
Yeah, what the provocation, I always say.
As a result of Bullwinkle's performance, Wossamotta became the top-ranked team in the country. Their new stadium was packed every weekend with thousands of fans. Wossamotta was making money hand over fist over hand.
Gentlemen, Bullwinkle Moose is the greatest football attraction since Blue Grain.
Isn't that Red Grange, Chancellor?
Let's not be controversial, Harkaby. Wossamotta is in the black for the first time in history.
At last we can afford to get some new teaching equipment.
Yes, my world map is so old it still shows the Earth is flat.
But nobody believes that.
Our current event books say that McKinley is still president.
And lots of people believe that.
You mean he isn't?
But now we can afford better teaching tools.
Gentlemen, you must be mad.
No, new equipment?
Of course. New athletic equipment. We can't afford to offend Coach Canute.
And so, in rapid succession, Wossamotta built an indoor baseball diamond, a 97-room home for Coach Canute, and a pink marble field house shaped like the Taj Mahal.
It's lovely by moonlight.
How about another test tube for the physics lab?
We gotta draw the line somewhere. Besides, it's time to meet the latest addition to our faculty, the world's greatest mathematical genius, Dr. Isosceles Digit.
Dr. Digit, are you here to start a new math department?
Are you kidding, Jack? I'm here to figure out new football plays.
And meanwhile, what of those two heels without soles, Boris and Natasha?
Yes, what of us, darling?
Natasha, there's only one way to fix the game and beat that idiot Moose.
And that is?
We got to get our own football team.
And within a few days, Boris had assembled the meanest, toughest gang of rascals and rogues in the state, the Mud City Manglers.
Look at them, Natasha.
Must I, darling? I just had lunch.
And wait till you meet the coach.
Darling, who could be mean and cruel enough to coach this mob of killers?
Who else?
You don't mean.
All right, team, a little pepper. Last man out of the huddle is the first man dead.
Boris, his fearless leader.
Yeah, he's doing a guest shot in this sequence.
A guest shot?
There goes a guest now.
Well, what a team this is for our heroes to face. Be sure to see our next episode, Rogues Gallery, or Hold That Lineup.
Well, it looks as if our time is just about run out.
Mine must be a little slow.
You got the credits, Bullwinkle?
All on this itty-bitty card. Oop!
We're late again, Bullwinkle.
Right!
Bye now. See you next time.